He wasn't the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. That was Cam Ward, the quarterback going to the Titans. But Dalton, I think the 2025 draft will be known eventually as the Travis Hunter draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded up to number 2 overall to select him in the NFL draft because of his two-way starting. He won the Heisman Trophy at Colorado last year, one of the best receivers in college football, one of the best corners in college football. In Jacksonville, at least to start his career, he'll be a receiver and maybe play a little bit corner. But now we're going to talk about the receiving part of his game, Dalton. What makes him such a great receiver for this Jaguars offense?
I think it's really, it almost feels like the same answer we always give with Travis Hunter in that he can do anything, right? Yeah. It's, you have so many receivers that specialize. They're outside, they're in the slot, they're short game and yard after catch, or they're fast vertical guys, right? It's just, once again, Travis Hunter can do anything. And even if you isolate his work at just receiver, he can do anything. So we talk about him usually as a two-way threat. I'm going to go the old Cincinnati Skyline Chili route here and call it a three-way threat here with this. And what I want to talk about is he's a three-level threat at all dimensions of the field. Short game, under 10 yards, intermediate, 10 to 19, and deep, 20-plus. Okay, so when you look at his receiving grades last year, Heisman-level season, right? Second in the nation in receiving grade on 0 to 9-yard targets. Ninth in the nation intermediate. Tied for first, perfect 99.9 deep receiving grade on deep 20-plus yard targets. So he was the only receiver in the country in the top 15 of all three. And he was in the top 10 of all three and the top 2 of 2 of them. So when you talk about a player who can hurt you at any level of the field, the only NFL, to pop quiz, you get brownie points for this, only one NFL receiver last year was in the top 15 in all 3 of these categories.
Is it Justin Jefferson?
Close, same division.
Oh. Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Amon-Ra St. Brown was the only one in the top 15. Travis Hunter, the only one in the top 15 at all 3 levels in college last year. So let's take a look at all 3 of those levels. Okay, we're going to start in the short game. Look, this is very, very simple. This tight end's going to come in motion. It's Colorado. Here's future Cleveland Browns franchise quarterback Shedeur Sanders for our producer Ty. Here's what you're going to get. Max protection here. All right, 7 in coverage. 7 in protection. You're going to get a vertical down here. You're going to get a vertical in the slot going this way. And all Travis Hunters do one-on-one, he's got an easy 8 to 10 yard curl out there one-on-one against. Now, why the Cincinnati Bearcats are playing Travis Hunter in press man coverage, I have no idea, but that's why he's Travis Hunter. He's going to do special things. All he's going to do out here, outside release, get to about 10, break it off, okay? Just get this. The corner's playing pretty straight up there. Bend him outside, create some space inside. So the first thing is about separating, creating space for himself. He's actually going to be the third read. Shedeur's going to work from the left side back up to the right here to Hunter as his third option. Gives Hunter some time to work that stem, work the route. So if you're questioning his route running, I promise you, he's Travis Hunter. He's a pretty good route runner. Let's get to the next slide here. So you look at the top of that route. I mentioned it. Outside release. We're way outside the numbers here. This is just at the top of the route. We're at darn near 5 yards of separation, right? And we're talking about a play, I believe it's 2nd and 8 here. We're already open. We got a first down right here, right? Okay, so that makes him good. He's a good route runner. We know he's a good short route runner. Got the release going, got the break going. He's just better than whoever's playing man-to-man against him there. That's big. Shedeur's loading up to throw it. Now, obviously, he's open. This is going to be complete. Here's the part that makes Travis Hunter special. Something I'm going to talk about a lot in this. Spatial awareness. He is constantly aware of how much space he has and who is around him. And a good example, we're switching the end zone shot here. A little bit blurry, but I want you to see his eyes. He's up in the air. The ball was a little bit high. But there are so many times in the tape, especially on short throws, where just as he's catching the football, and he trusts his hands, he only had 3 drops in his whole career between Jackson State and Colorado, where just constantly aware of his next move. Subtle things like this. Not all receivers do this. A lot of them are so fast. They got to catch the ball, then they got its own sequence. With Travis Hunter, it's one fluid movement. So he's looking, setting up the corner, got his eyes inside, going to set him up. What happens because he's Travis Hunter? Spin out of it. Get down the sideline. You turn a 6-yard curl into a 30-yard gain, right? That's how you get elite receiving grades on short throws. All right, now we're going to intermediate. Again, I'm going to talk about spatial awareness. Here's what's going to happen. Simple concept here. All right, Nebraska's going to be in cover 4. Back deep, back deep. This is the safety that's going to match Hunter if he's going to go vertical. Back deep here and matching. And then you've just got 3 underneath. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Now the weird part about this, what's going to happen? You're going to get vertical. You're going to get vertical at the bottom, bubble here. Travis is going to run about a 12-yard dig right in here. Okay, now you can see pre-snap, this might be an issue for Sanders and Hunter, okay, because you've got 2 guys right in this window here. But the weird part is normally the middle linebacker here is going to release whichever way this back goes. If he's on this side, generally it's this side. Now, the weird part is the back is actually going to cross over, and he's going to take this middle linebacker right into Hunter's window here. So it kind of should close off the dig route for Shedeur and Hunter to complete that. Now, you're going to see it. Look, the back crossed over. You've got the linebackers switching this off and passing this off. He knows it's coming, getting in this window. At the top of this route, what Hunter does is a slight hesitation because at first he thinks he's going to sit in here. Pre-snap, that's probably the right move, but the back releasing sent the mic out this way towards him. What does he do? Calm and cool, spatial awareness. We're just going to keep going. There's a slight hesitation, and he goes, you know what? That linebacker's here. Keep going. Get into the space there. Got the chemistry with Shedeur Sanders as they did at Colorado, and that's the result. He's going to get into that space, gets by the linebacker, explosive play going this way. That's how you get in the intermediate game, especially when you talk about that second level, reading zone coverages, reading the space around you. It's a constant theme at all levels with Travis Hunter, reading the space. Let's get to third level now. We're going to get deep. Deal. Here we go. We're getting vertical. Same thing. Colorado did this a lot. Vertical, bubble. And what Hunter's going to do against a two safety look, we're going to get cover 6 here. So we've got 1 quarter there, 1 quarter there. This safety still has to lean towards number 2 because that's his job. You're going to get a deep half here that's going to release and split these two. So you've got the outside guy getting vertical, and Hunter's job when he sees that safety split is to get right down the seam, right there. See all that space pre-snap, right? He's got to be constantly aware of where that safety is and then where this one is as well, just in case he drops off to come get him as well, because you don't want to get a double team. Plus, we got to run by this guy who's actually going to trail. A linebacker's going to attempt to trail with him. It's not going to work. He's Travis Hunter, right? Let's get to the next shot. You can see it already. The safety widened. He's bending inside of him. This safety is coming to help, but he stepped out this way first, so he's going to be a little bit late. We've got some space. Shedeur's anticipating this already. Look, we're by the guy that's matching. Get into this space. Now, the one thing, you know what I love about this, and this is almost, I'm going to compare it to baseball a little bit here. What Hunter does in this shot here, where are his eyes? This ball's gone. This ball is in the air. Where are his eyes, though? On the space. Look at him downfield, knowing where he needs to get to, where this safety is, where that safety is, where the space is. He's taking his eyes off the football at this point, which might seem crazy. In baseball, for an outfielder, they would call that ball, wall, ball, where you have your eyes on the ball, take a look at the wall so you don't crash into it and know how far you are, and then put it back on the ball. That's exactly what Travis Hunter's doing. The crazy level of ball tracking that this takes, to take your eye off of it in midair with 3 guys around you just to know where you need to be to get in here, that's ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous level of spatial awareness. And of course, I wouldn't show it if he didn't catch it. He did, and we've got a 40-something yard play downfield because we also got a perfect throw. But look, when you look at the end result of this too and finding that space, just enough space from that safety, just enough space from that safety. Now, this guy's torch. He was never catching him anyway. So you talk about creating space for himself at all levels and understanding where he needs to be. That's, I think, the part that makes Travis Hunter really special is that spatial awareness and just his awareness on a football field that is still, I think, underrated. And
like we said before, Travis Hunter played both ways for Colorado last year as a receiver and as a corner, which takes elite athleticism, as we've shown before, Dalton. But you've shown, too, he's maybe the smartest player on the football field at all times, which comes up very handy in scramble drill situations.
Absolutely. So we're used to Colorado and Shedeur Sanders and the suspect offensive line and pass protection, and so often they were in those scramble drill situations. That all comes down to awareness and just an effort, a willingness to make plays when things break down, as they often did. And if you look in 2024, when Shedeur Sanders had to break the pocket, who was he looking for? Rightfully, number 12. Led the nation in receiving grade in these situations. Targets, catches, yards, first downs and touchdowns. So many big plays he creates because of late play awareness. It's effort and it's awareness. That's the 2 things that make a scramble drill happen. So I wanted to show one of these because Trevor Lawrence actually, during the 4 years of his career, he's actually been one of the worst quarterbacks in football in these scramble drills. In these situations, his career passing grade's at 37.5. He's been one of, I think, a bottom 5 quarterback in the league in these scramble drills and passing grade. Usually, you take off to run, he's a good athlete, but it's never felt like when Mahomes or Allen or Lamar or whoever, when they get out of the pocket, it never feels like Lawrence is comfortable in those spots. He should be more comfortable with Travis Hunter. So let's take a look at one play here. This is down in the red zone for Colorado. So what you're going to get kind of this double China concept down here. It goes the slot to the corner here. You're going to get in route in here from my FAU legend, LeJontay Wester, and another one here from Hunter. Now, when we show this, and there's going to be max protection here, again, you're just going to get 7. You're going to get 7 in protection and just 3 in the route. When we go to this next clip, that's the concept you're going to get. And you're going to look here. Look, Hunter, covered. Not happening. Not happening yet, at least. Not happening in here yet. Wester's going to dive in here eventually. But the other problem is again, immediate pressure, as often happened with Colorado. Immediate pressure here off the right side. Shadour's got to bail. So he's already got to bail on the concept and figure out something. Hunter or somebody's got to figure out a way open right now. Here's a fun one. We get to this spot right here. When your quarterback's rolling one way, 99% of the time, the rule is to roll towards the same sideline. You see Shepard's going to keep going back here in the back corner. The rule generally is to roll to the same sideline so he can get the momentum going with the throw. But Travis Hunter, he's going to do things a little differently, and of course it's going to work. What he's going to do, because he's got the face guard here, and I think it's a linebacker there, just assuming that, hey, most guys go and do that. You know what he takes? You can see it right there. Taking this little jab step here, takes this jab step, turn it back inside. He trusts Shadour enough to throw it back across his body, and you've got a touchdown because, look, he thinks of things on a football field that most other guys don't. That's not a normal thing. 99% of receivers are going to take off towards that front pylon on the outside, out here this way, because my quarterback, and you roll to the same sideline as your quarterback. Travis is so special that he just thinks of these things on the fly. And it's all over the tape. When I talk about most of those catches, he made the scramble drills. He's constantly putting his hand up, pointing Shadour in a certain direction, directing traffic from the receiving end of it. It's just ridiculous to have the awareness to do these things on the football field and execute at the high level that he does.
When you're the most athletic player in the draft and the smartest player in the draft, you're the best player in the draft. That's what Travis Hunter is for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now, Dalton, finally, Trevor Lawrence, that supporting cast he's got in Jacksonville, is finally there with him. Got a brand new head coach in Liam Cohen, a great rookie receiver from last year in Brian Thomas Jr., and the best player in the 2025 NFL Draft in Travis Hunter, now in Jacksonville.